Testing out your microphone there. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Wardcast, your weekly source for video game news, machinima, and survival horror discussion, updates on the ward, and more. I'm your host, Sean Clark, alongside Jazz Rich.
How dare you be in the chat but not in the podcast, Alec, you fuck.
What is he here? What a fuck.
Let's get fucked.
What a fuck.
You're
I don't
fired.
even have the chat up. There we go. You get fucked. And you fired.
Also, hi.
Hello. Also, Carmen De La Cruz.
Woo!
And
I thought you
Nick,
said armadillo.
yeah, Armadillo De La Cruz. That's exactly
Armadillo.
what I said. And also Nick Vanguard.
Armadillo Cruz.
Hi.
Welcome back. What the fuck was that?
Hello.
Hello.
Well, we were talking about rooms and quests.
Oh, you're right.
So
Was that your seductive voice? Are you
not
are
quite.
you
I don't know. Depends on who's the target audience for.
Pornhub apparently?
Alec, apparently.
Yeah.
Same
Too
thing.
busy to be on the podcast, but not busy enough to be in the chat. It's okay. It's fine.
He's watching the
You over
podcast
there?
on like a subway station on his phone. Like, hey,
Hey, maybe you never know. First off, sorry we missed a couple of weeks. That was my fault. I didn't have the energy to podcast for a couple of weeks just because I've had a lot going on. So yeah, that's a me thing. But we should be good going forward. Should be back on track. Should be back to the weekly podcast situation as long as everything goes smoothly. So knock on wood. But this week, we'll be talking about some exciting new things coming up at the Ward, fashion accessories for your controllers, Valve giving away free Steam decks, and some potentially disappointing video games in December. But before we get into all that, hey, Jazz,
Hi.
how was your week?
Was that like two things or was it one? Like new exciting things at the ward, like clothing for your controllers.
Those are two. Well, I don't know. You have to wait and see.
Ugh, I don't like seeing.
It's a surprise. What? Seeing is believing.
Yeah, I don't like to believe.
Mm.
My week,
Racist.
a couple of weeks. Sorry, I got like popcorn on my hands. We're okay, I guess. I've been busy. I don't remember why, but I've been busy. Had a lot of shutdown days with my brain, so that was fun.
Sounds fun.
I got popcorn in my teeth. It hurts.
This is why you don't eat on the podcast. Well, one of the reasons.
No, it's fine. It happens every time I eat popcorn. It's okay.
Oh, so you planned for this? Great.
The podcast
No, it's
is
just-
the
It makes
best
it
time
better.
to eat.
Yeah. I think I've just been up to the usual, just watching The Simpsons and watching Station 19. I feel like I watched some movies, but I don't remember. I watched Cinderella, so that's a movie. I played some
Is it-
games, some gamses.
Some gams.
I played. What did I play? Well, I played PUBG a lot. Today I've been playing. Well, today and the other day I've been playing Forbidden West to try to just get some side quests and stuff and accidental trophies. You know how it goes. I think we played in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Outriders.
We did.
Yeah. I played a game with. Oh, I played Conan Exiles with Michael, with Shattered.
Shattered Michael.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much all I've been really doing. Just because, like, during watching Critical Role, but that's not really a movie, or might as well be. We did our usual D&D, skipped a week, but yesterday's game was pretty fun. Yeah, I think I've just been like realizing that I haven't had a vacation in a year, because between like the job switching and all of the stress, I haven't really stopped. So I'm getting one this year. I've got 2 weeks coming up, starting the 24th. So that's going to be great. It'll give me a little breather. But otherwise, I think I'm starting to get very, very spent on energy. So yeah. This week might be better though, because Wednesday I have my first appointment with post-concussion rehab. So you know how stupid I've been with my brain. Hopefully they'll be able to fix it a little bit, put some glue in there.
No, they're gonna fix you.
They
Don't let
are,
'em.
and it's free. Yeah. So I
Feels
might
good.
start remembering things. We don't know. I don't know, and if I don't, I won't remember. So it's okay.
It's a win-win.
So I had a dream that I had a really kick-ass show and tell, but like I don't know if it was a dream or if there's something that I was like, oh, I can show this, and I have no idea. So, but otherwise, I have this that I bought at the store last week. It's a book. So it's a Hellfire Club book from Stranger Things.
Stranger.
It's cool, right? Right on the back it
Strangler.
says "Roll for your life, dice don't die," which is pretty accurate, pretty fitting for me.
Is it?
Is the word.
Oh, okay.
And the note. Well, it's a notebook, obviously. So like the inside, I don't know. You guys watch Stranger Things? Hit myself with the face of the book. It's got like all these little like demon thingies and the Hellfire Club thing and like a Demogorgon. It's got a lot of cool stuff. But the cool thing, other than all that, is the pages are grid, so I can use it to make little maps. Like it's a little doodle book I can take with me. Yeah.
Isn't
So
that the
that's-
point? Like graph papers, so that you can like outline
Do
maps
drones.
and shit like that.
Yeah, it's like math and shit. But like it's a D&D book
Math.
and it's a Stranger Things book. So it's like, yeah, and you know, it's cool. It's cool. So that's my thing today. Also popcorn is delicious. That's all.
No, popcorn is the devil.
You gotta put ketchup in it.
I do. I have ketchup seasoning in there. Yeah, I was prepared for that.
Not enough. It doesn't look red.
It's in a yellow bowl.
Wow.
Is the bowl yellow?
God.
That's my week.
Woot
Somebody
woot.
else. And I also no. You want me to go on? Is that it?
Yes.
Pass the torch. Is this your first podcast? Hello.
Yes.
Welcome to the Wardcast.
Okay, I'll give it to Carmen.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
too late. I
doing
already said it.
stuff. Okay. Okay. So my week was this week was pretty decent, pretty okay, pretty lively and alive, considering the fact that last week I had the plague. The literal, absolute corona plague of the COVID type. And that was not fun. So, tomorrow I come out of quarantine, which will be fun. For me, except I will have to visit family, which is okay. It's okay. Which that means that I missed Thanksgiving, which was very sad, and I was very, it sucked ass. But I got a lot of watching in, and I watched Star Trek Prodigy. That was pretty fun. New episodes came out. I don't know when they came out, but I just noticed it like a few days ago. So probably came out maybe a month ago or more, because they had already had 6 new episodes out. So I watched all those. That's if anyone doesn't recall, or I'm sure nobody cares, but it is the
Wow.
the animated version of Star Trek now, or not the animated version, but the new animated series of Star Trek for kids. So it's, I think if you watch network TV, it airs on Nickelodeon, but I watch it on Paramount Plus, and I watched Wednesday, as in Wednesday Addams, as in the Addams Family, and
No spoilers.
I don't know if anyone else
It's garbage. It's garbage.
bothered to watch it. Okay,
No spoilers.
no spoil. Okay, but it's good. It's good. But I thought I was probably going to be the only one who hated the casting choices. But I go online, and I am certainly not the only one who hates the casting choices. You hate it for a different reason, and I will fight you. But just a reminder: Gomez Adams was Castilian Spanish. Just saying.
Oh, I know.
Yes,
I'm aware.
always has been. Always
Probably
has
still
been.
is.
Now
No, he's dead.
actually they're looking like
Oh,
they're
wait, was
leaning
he
more
always
towards
dead?
like just Latin American. What?
I don't
Because
know.
we're like
Are
all
they?
undead. I don't know. I don't even know what the
Undead?
situation
I thought
is
they were
there.
like vampires.
They're
when I was
not
a kid.
undead. They're
Well,
just
like,
they
because there's like
are
Lurch is like
humans that have.
Frankenstein thingy, and like Morticia seems like a vampire. I don't fucking know.
No,
The
they
grandma's like a
they
witch. I don't know.
They're
I
the
don't know
next
what's going
grandma
on
family
in
is
of
a
the
that
next
witch.
show.
Resident Evil game.
Oh
Exactly.
the
my
grandma
god, it's
is a
true.
witch. They
So true.
you know they never explain thing. So
They don't explain shit.
that's a little bit of the beauty of it, because it makes it sort of open to speculation and flexible for their writing and everything. But mostly, like, the Adamses are just human. They're just like weird humans, or like a little humans with like a little bit of supernatural stuffies going on. And in this version, when it's not a spoiler, it's just a little bit of an overview. In this version, Wednesday Addams has psychic visions.
Bullshit.
Just occasionally, yeah.
Spoilers.
But it's not. I think they introduced this in like the first or second episode. She has psychic visions.
She sees what
And
happens in the
she-
next episode.
Things that happen in the episodes are spoilers.
It happens in episode 4. It's not a spoiler.
saying-
Alright.
I'm not
It's not like
saying
I just
that.
told you they die.
Anyway, she goes to a boarding school with a bunch of other.
Spoilers. God.
It's the first episode. It's like the first 10 minutes. Anyway, it's all right. It's all right. I have problems with the casting a little bit.
Is it thumbs
Um,
up or thumbs down?
It's the show is thumbs up. The casting for
I'll give it that.
yeah, the show is thumbs up. It's pretty decent. It's not like mind-blowing, but it's pretty decent. Gomez Adams and Morticia Adams could have been cast much better, I feel like. So it's like, yeah, I'll give it like a one of those.
I'll give you one spoiler. The
yeah.
writing's terrible.
No,
So it's probably good.
I mean, if you
yeah,
like that, I guess.
Sean doesn't
Apparently.
like anything good. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
No, we just have different opinions on things. And I watched Disenchanted, which was the sequel to the like 2000. I don't know when it came out. They said 15 years ago, whenever that was. The sequel
2012.
to no, it's like 8 or 9 or 3 or something. I don't know. But if anybody remembers Disney's Enchanted, where the main lady came from a fairy tale world and came into the
Spoiler.
real world. That's in the first 10 minutes
It's like literally in like the
Of
back
the
of the
last
case.
episode.
of the original. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I watched Disenchanted.
Next, you're gonna say that she was wearing a dress or
was kind-
something.
That was
God.
kind of horrible. Disenchanted was kind of terrible writing. I think it was like direct to video. I did not love it. I watched Miss Marvel. That was all right. I played Call of Duty Mobile, and I am working my way through Resident Evil
What is your
4.
problem?
You're working through what?
The Resident Evil 4. So I'm playing them in order, except I haven't played 0 yet.
So she played 5
And I'm-
first, and then
7.
Eh?
because it's the original.
Yeah.
Did you-
you start with 5. Everybody knows that.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Did you Miss Marvel? Is that the show that they made, or is it the movie?
It's a mini series show.
Okay.
So I think I still have 2 more episodes to go, but it's where this Marvel,
Yeah,
not a spoiler.
I watched one episode, so shh.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna give you spoilers, but in episode
So-
7,
So was the movie called Captain Marvel? I keep confusing.
Well,
which is
here's the
which.
thing. I need to explain this. So Captain Marvel was the movie. Miss Marvel is some young teenage girl who is a fan of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And she ends up getting so in the first episode she goes to a convention for Captain Marvel, and she's dressed as Captain Marvel. That's her
I already
cosplay.
hate this.
And then she gets some powers, and she's like, okay, well, what do I do with these powers? And yeah, that's all.
And that's where episode 1 ends. So no more, no spoilers.
Yeah, okay, none. That's it. So that was fun. So how was let's say, how was Nick? How was your
Don't you have a show and tell?
existence?
Does no one know the
Do I
format?
have a show and tell? Okay, yes, I do. I have a show and tell. This
Welcome to episode 1, everybody.
this it looks
You'll
like
figure
just a
out the
plain
kinks
notebook, right?
eventually.
It looks like a plain notebook. It is
It
a
looks like the
Rocketbook
map of
notebook.
that
Is
ski
this-
ski game.
is a
where
plain
the Yeti
notebook.
eats
It,
you.
it does.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Is this
No,
a
it is a
magic-
Rocketbook
magic trick?
notebook, which what?
Is-
This ordinary notebook, no strings, right?
Now
Bam!
Look
R.
into the microphone.
It's plastic. The shit's plastic. It's wet erase plastic. Okay, like you have to use friction pens, or I bought some generic knockoffs of friction pens, which are the erasable pens by Pilot. And
Sponsored.
More
so you-
money
That,
and do
that
extra
cat is up
work
to no good.
to
He
use
just like
this
climbed behind the
notebook.
curtain in the background, like doopy doopy doo.
I'm curious now, but they do that. It's fine. It's just my closet back there. But this is my new favorite thing. It is a plastic sheets notebook. So you write on it, you upload it to the cloud, and then you erase it with like a wet microfiber, and that's it. And that is my show and tell. And it may be lame, but it is my new favorite thing. It's just one of those practical things. That's all.
You lost
So-
me at the cloud.
So it's like an art tablet, but that you can wipe away with Kleenex.
Wow.
Yeah, except it's more like just a regular spiral bound notebook. And I also got the flashcards. So
Ooh.
Are they
and like a
cards with
shit
flash
ton of
on them?
pens. Huh? No.
So if you pull a
And I
card
got-
out, does it like a burst of light?
No.
And then it just goes really fast.
See, I told you,
No.
magic tricks.
Note card. Would you like the proper term? They are note cards. That is all. So
Thank you.
that's my lame life. How was
Good lord.
Yeah. we're gonna
Don't
bring
sell
back
yourself
to Nick.
short.
Mm,
Sell yourself tall.
free 99.
Okay, you may pass it along now.
Okay.
This is where you
I said-
pass it along.
I did. I said, how was
Oh,
Nick's
okay.
existence? And then he's just quiet.
I
What,
didn't
my
hear
existence?
you say that. I saw hands
Good
go
to
like
meet
this.
you. How was your several many weeks?
Many weeks. I've been good. I haven't been on this in a while. I don't remember when the
Yeah,
last
it's been
time
a while.
has been.
Me neither.
It seems
been
like it.
2 whole weeks.
A year I've been checking.
No, I've been good. I have work now because I don't know if the last time I said any whatever. I graduated. I work now. I'm in a music band, so that's been going really well. But that's all boring shit.
Wow.
No, but no, it's been good. I've had more time to actually dedicate to things that are like not just like routine, which being in a band is a bit routine after a while because you have the same thing every week and you kind of it's exciting, but it's like anything, right? It becomes a thing where you have to actually put in work and you're thinking of it as work.
The struggle.
But no, I started doing some more. I have some videos recorded that I need to edit because I sat down and went, okay, I actually want to do something with the whole YouTube thing before it dies completely. If Twitter is any indication.
Right.
So I don't know if I want to do streaming anymore. It's something I realized. I kept trying to do streaming every like few weeks, be like, all right, I want to do so. It doesn't seem like the type of medium for me, just because I'd rather play a game for an hour and be really energetic and excited for that hour than for like 5 or 6 and just kind of play it. But yeah, I started doing some scripting for an abridged series, which I don't want to say anything about yet because I don't know if it's going to actually take off or not. I don't want to make any promises, but Sean, we do need to talk.
We'll talk later.
But there's been that. I had some projects in terms of just like voice acting I've been wanting to do for other things, which again, I don't want to say anything because the person who approached me about it doesn't know what he wants to do with it yet. A lot of nothing really. but in terms of just hanging out, I've been getting back into. I beat like a bunch of Final Fantasy games like this summer and into the fall, and I got really like sick of JRPGs, or so I thought. So I started playing survival horror again. So I booted up Code Veronica, which is like the one Resident Evil I haven't beaten yet, and it's hard. Like
It is hard. It's one of the hardest ones.
If you don't have a walkthrough, you fuck yourself every like 20 minutes in terms of equipment or not knowing what like, oh, now I know that I shouldn't have used that item here, or now I know I should have not waited or whatever. And then for Show and Tell is the other game I started playing because I have a little bit of a history with this series because I played the original Clock Tower 1 on SNES when I was really young, and I thought it was scary as fuck. Because it is a little bit, I don't know, it's something about not having any way to fight back, but it's I think I posted this in the Wardcast Discord, but it is Clock Tower 3.
Good.
Which
I mean, I can't vouch for that because I haven't played it. I played it for like 30 seconds, but I know that it's good. I can feel it.
I don't know if it's.
Listen,
I don't know if I would call it good. I'm about 3 hours in. I beat the first major boss because it's like, okay. There's a boss.
It's at least 3 hours.
It's at least 3
How
hours.
dare you?
I think it's like 7 or 9 according to how long to beat.
Every game for me is at least 3 hours.
Even
game for me is
at
on
least 80 hours.
A 20-minute episode of anime is 3 hours for me sometimes. So I don't know, but no. I just want to say that I'm really confused what went wrong with survival horror the past 10 years. But
so much.
I will say
much.
so.
Butt stuff.
Butt stuff.
Alex not here.
Well. So Clock Tower 3, the best way I can describe it is if you can emulate it, don't buy it because it's like $100 and it's not worth, unless you're like really big survival horror game fan. I don't find a way to play it. I don't want to like put under legal scrutiny, but it's worth trying out and playing if you want that kind of 2002, 2001, really early, not tank controls, but like very early survival horror, like it's a PS2 game. But if you like Haunting Grounds, which I really like Haunting Grounds, it is essentially a beta test for Haunting Grounds because the gameplay and mechanics are literally like, if you want to think of it as like a pie that's baked, it's like literally raw and they don't even know what to put in it yet. But it's like they put something together and they're like, try it. And it's not terrible. And there's moments where you're like, if this was fleshed out, it would be really good. And that's what Haunting Grounds is.
Well, you
it's
the same company. You have to look at, and it came out first. So like you have to look at it exactly the way that you said. Like it's basically kind of paved the way for us to get Haunting Ground, like it was the trailblazer for that kind of a game. So it's obviously going to be worse than that because like they didn't have the formula nailed down yet. And they were also transitioning out of like what Clock Tower used to be with, like the 2D point and click, that whole thing into like the 3D realm and, a little bit more interactivity and like they had the boss fight and stuff like that. So like it's not going to be a perfect game. So as long as you go into that game with proper expectations, again, you're considering the generation of console it was on, the state of survival horror during that period, and the fact that that was like one of the first games kind of in that realm. It's good. It's a good game. It did what it needed to do. So don't you shit on it. I
No,
agree. It's not worth $100. Like very few
it's
games are worth $100 in my opinion.
it's worth trying if you want. It's a time capsule of a game, I would say. Like it has it's function as in terms of quality. Like it's playable, you can beat it. There's decisions that I think are dumb from a design perspective, but that's like any game, right? Like why do I have to get a fucking skeleton rib cage to use as a fish hook or something, like in that Indiana
Right.
Jones point and click? Like there's stuff like that you can disagree with, but it works and it's playable and it's fine.
That's just a survival horror thing though. That's in every
Yeah.
one of those games.
Yeah, you're like, why can't I just know? It's
Why do I need
whatever.
a shield key to open the kitchen? I mean,
Moon logic. I don't know, whatever you call it. But I do want to say it kind of made me think about how survival horror used to kind of have genres, I think, where it was supernatural with Silent Hill, whatever. Resident Evil was sci-fi, right? It's like viruses and all that. That's not really supernatural. You can argue like big dinosaur monsters from like a capsule of like some 12 milliliters of a thing should not turn you into a big dinosaur that eats people, but that's sci-fi. You'd be like, well, if it could do that with cells. I don't think we have much diversity in terms of survival horror anymore. And this game, Clock Tower 3 had a moment in it where it's like they started going from the simple premise of you don't have weapons and you're just running around and the goal is escape the evil guy who wants to kill you. How he's evil, why he's evil is not really supernatural or whatever. There's some supernatural elements, but it's not like in your face. And this one, it's straight up like fantasy bullshit where it's like you are the harbinger of souls or some. It's like House of the Dead except even crazier. And I think that maybe there was a trend where at some point they were like, we need to make things more than just you're in a room and you run away from something, or there's a creature and you're trying to get away. It needs to have big crazy stories filled with lore and 100 years ago or a prophecy or something. And I think this game maybe is part of that time period where that's where it all started, where it couldn't be a simple story with simple mechanics and simple stuff. You always needed some bigger, badder, crazier shit. The world is ending. It's not just a guy trying to kill you. It's the world has to end if you don't survive. I don't know. It just made me think about that's kind of the trend now, is everything's so homogenous. There's no simpler kind of, this is this kind of story. This is a metaphor for whatever. This is just a simple creature feature, So
yeah,
it was interesting.
it was kind of suffering from, that I don't know how you want to phrase it, but basically, like survival horror kind of started humble and low scale and, B horror movie, like the original Resident Evil, right? It was like that. That's kind of what survival horror was. And then we did that so many times that people were getting tired of it. Like it's always that scenario. Like we do it one too many times and then people are like, oh, well, it's the same fucking thing. Blah, blah, blah. And then they have to change it. Right. So then they have to figure out, okay, well, what does change look like? Right. So something's going to suffer for that. It's whether it's okay, well, maybe we need to approach the story in a different way. And it's got to be big and over the top, or there's got to be more action, or what's popular, like they've always got to go down that road and inject something new to revive sales from dipping. So like that that's what happened there. They had to do something different. That's what happened with Resident Evil multiple
I think
times.
that's the best way you put it. I think it's been an overcorrection that they scaled it outward. It's like, no, we need to have more than just whatever the hell your setting is. I think now people appreciate more of a scaled back kind of thing where everything is like, I'd prefer simpler, like a nice, concise story that I can understand, appreciate, and enjoy. And that doesn't need all this crazy, fantastical prophecy, the world ending bullshit.
I think there's room for both. It just depends on what it is. Like it's good to have that
Yeah,
variety.
yeah.
That's what was so good about that era of games, just in general. Like there was more experimentation. They were more willing to take a risk and do something weird or way over the top or whatever. We had that variety where like nowadays it's just like you get this. Here's this one thing, have it. Have it again and again and again. and that really sucks because like that's what's going to sell. And games are so expensive to make these days that they've got to get a fucking couple of $1 billion return on it or it's a failure. So like they've got to fucking make sure that their investment is going to pay out. So they got to make it cookie cutter, and it's got to be action, and at least to a degree, and it's it's got to be all these things. It's got to check all these boxes. It sucks. So like games like Clock Tower 3 that are fucking weird and quirky and maybe fail in areas, but they tried to do something different and interesting. Like I prefer that.
That's kind of my takeaway, and also like my TLDR. I would imagine, and people I think do with Kickstarters and all these indie games, people I think want more crazy shit that's either it's scaled back in terms of scope, but it's like experimental, I think is the best word. Like just try different shit that might be unique or interesting. It might be really weird, but it's different than your homogenous blob of here's what we decided people statistically would pay money for and play. So
yeah. On
that note, on the state of the industry, how was your week, Sean? Or your 2 weeks, I guess.
Busy. I actually got to catch up on some sleep though, which was good, and I needed it. But I watched some things. I watched a lot of documentaries for some reason. Like it wasn't intentional. It just kind of worked out that way. But I watched a documentary called Pepsi, Where's My Jet? And I guess apparently like Pepsi was running this promotion in the 90s where it's like, oh, you buy a can of Pepsi, you get a code and you get points and you can get hats and t-shirts and, generic bullshit. But in the commercial that they use to advertise it, they're like, you can get a fucking Harrier jet for like 7 million points or whatever. And, they didn't put like in quotations, just kidding, or like, some kind of disclaimer saying we're not actually going to give you a jet. So of course somebody went and wanted that fucking jet, and they made it happen, and Pepsi didn't want to give them that jet. So like it became this huge like lawsuit and back and forth. It's pretty interesting. It's a good watch. But watch that.
That's a lot of Pepsi to drink to get the 7 million.
I mean, it is. It's actually not even possible, but there's a loophole in there where you could like buy Pepsi points with money. So like they did the math, and it's like, oh well, if I spend $3,000 buying Pepsi points, I can get a multi-million-dollar jet. And that's kind of where it gets all like muddled, and it's interesting. I should watch it. A documentary.
Did they get the jet?
No, they did not
still
get
up
the
for
jet.
grabs.
Spoiler alert. Documentary on the history of iconic horror movie monsters, which is like Pinhead, Jason, Freddy, stuff like that. That was a good watch. Jason? I watched a documentary on stalkers, so that was interesting. And it's a good mix.
Okay.
I started Warrior Nun back up, and I don't know why I fell off originally, but I watched most of episode 1 again. I think I'll like it. I don't know. I just need to. I don't have time to sit down and like watch many things. So like if it doesn't pull me in immediately, I don't know. I just kind of.
I watched like 3 documentaries on jets and stalkers
because it's like super. Because it's
those
interesting.
Just got you.
It does. It's like, what the fuck is this about? Like, I like dumb shit. Like I tell you this all the time. Like if it's stupid, I'm interested. Like that stuff entertains me.
So there's one line at the last episode of season 1 of Warrior Nun that I've been waiting for you to watch it so we can just laugh about it. And every time I'm like, you watch it yet? You're like, no, I haven't watched it yet. And now you're like, I'm about like halfway through, and I'm like, ooh, and you're like, episode 1.
Spoilers.
I keep forgetting there's a season 2.
I'm sorry. I forgot there's a season 2.
Episode 3.
I don't know what it is. It's just it's not reeling me in. It's not like super compelling. Maybe it's a slow start. I don't know. Like
I thought it was hilarious.
Seems cool. It seems interesting, but it's just not. I don't know. It's not pulling me in yet. I did finally finish Medical Police. That was amazing because it's so fucking dumb.
I still have clips on my phone of that agent girl that like follows them or whatever when she's just like putting the guy to sleep. She's like, I'm gonna go out for snacks, and then she's like, I'm gonna go out for snacks. I love that show. I don't want to watch it again.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's so stupid.
I watched. I'm not sure how many episodes of Wednesday there is, but I think I watched like half of it. I think I watched 5 episodes.
There's
It's like a month and a half.
That's a lot of Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Does
But
it come
once
out every
everybody gets
Wednesday?
caught up about it, I don't know. We'll talk about it. It's not even a fucking discussion that I want to have because everything around the things that this show is doing just really fucking irritates me. And I don't like talking about it. And I'm tired of fucking seeing it. Anyways, New Girl, I went back to that again as my like
Yes.
bedtime
Same.
show. I can never escape it. I could watch it a million times and
They
never
took
get
it off
old.
Netflix and I was really upset. And then they put it on Disney Plus and I was like, yeah, I can watch it
Yeah.
again
Disney
now.
Plus?
It's still on
Yeah.
It's still on Netflix here.
It keeps telling me to watch the Christmas
Oh.
episodes of all these shows, and I keep rewatching the Christmas episodes of that show because it's just so funny.
Does it have that many? I don't remember there being
I think
more
it has
than like
one or
2.
two.
Yeah.
There was one
think
where they
there's
were all
2.
flying out home, but then they all stayed, and then there's like the Christmas lights.
I think that was a Thanksgiving one, wasn't it? I don't know.
I don't know. You guys have your Thanksgiving like right before Christmas, and it fucks me up when I watch TV. I'm like, why are they like
What is
planning
this
for
holiday?
Christmas? It's fucking October, and I'm like, oh shit, no, it's not. Fucking idiots.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm outnumbered here.
dare
I'm
you.
standing my ground.
Rude.
Yeah.
I
There's
played-
a holiday per month. It makes sense. There's one in October.
It's a good point.
What
Halloween.
holidays in June?
Flag Day.
Okay, what about November? Wait, no, you guys have
Thanksgiving.
January, I guess it's New Year's.
New Year's.
February is Lara Croft's birthday.
Valentine's Day.
March?
Valentine's
Never,
Day.
don't answer
March.
that. April?
And in Japan in March, it's some people's birthday. In Japan in March, it's White Day.
That's just, like,
Excuse me.
I completely forgot about St. Patrick's Day. That's why
White
I was
Day
like,
is
never mind.
where the guys give the girls the chocolate, and Valentine's Day is where the girls give the
Is
guys
that what they're
the
calling
chocolate.
it these days?
Or it's hey, I don't make the rules, or I might have that backwards. So
You do make the rules?
I think there's other countries that celebrated that holiday.
when is
I
St.
played
Patrick's Day?
What else you
Outriders with Jazz, and I think she's
What?
tired of it already.
You
I'm
played a
not-
what with Jazz?
But-
I'm not tired of it
I
already.
know she gets burned out of games very quickly.
But what was it?
But I bought it again because on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, one of the things it was on sale for the PS5 version with all the DLC for $20, and like you can't just buy the DLC, at least not that I could find. So like you have to rebuy the game with the DLC, and it's like $40 normally. So I was like, okay, $20 for all of it, whatever, fine. I like the game enough to get the DLC, so it just made
I
sense.
figured the guy was trying to upsell me from the $15 like used copy of just the game. He was trying to
What
upsell
was
me to
it?
like the $90 DLC included
That's a
copy.
big
I was like,
fucking
I was like,
upsell.
I'm here because I just want
For-
this game to play with my friend. I have no idea if I'll like it. I played the
Yeah.
beta like years ago. I don't know. I don't watch it. He's like, yeah, but if you want the DLC, I'm like, listen, that's all I want.
Back
So I
off
figured
with the DLC.
That's
eventually, if I want the DLC, I'll just go to EB Games and do a swap out. Like I'll pay the difference and I'll exchange the Outriders copy that I have because I bought it physical because it was cheaper.
See, and you can get some money back. One of the many
Maybe. I
amazing
doubt
things
it.
about physical. Even if you only get 50 cents back, it's still 50 cents more
You
than
remember-
you're getting
my-
from
You remember Control?
your digital version.
They won't take my download back. What the hell?
Yeah, why
Yeah.
not? This is bullshit.
I was trading in
remember
3
my Control
downloads for a
song.
new one.
Not always good to have.
Yeah, that salesperson had a lot of fucking balls to be like, "Oh, I see you're buying this $10 game, but what about the $150 version? Like, what the fuck are
So,
you doing?"
I'm pretty sure it's the same one of the same guys that I trolled once going in there and being like, I'm looking for a copy of League of Legends, and he was like, that's an online. I'm like, yeah, but I want it physical. I'm a collector, and he was like, but it's a free to play online game. I'm like, yeah, but I want the physical. It's like, He probably remembered me and was like, "Hey, spend more money, you fuck."
Like, I know you like to waste money. How about wasting some more?
I also bought like a shitload of like merch, like D&D merch and like Horizon stuff that day. So he was like, "You don't have the money to spend on the DLC, but
Wait,
you're
they
fucking."
have D&D merch at EB Games.
Mhm.
Isn't because EB
It's
Games is
new.
what? It's like the Canadian GameStop, right?
Oh, it's actually GameStop. I just still call it EB Games, but they switched the name
Okay.
back to
I didn't
GameStop
know
now.
if it was.
Well, we had EB Games, then we had both, and then we went. Now it's all back to GameStop. But yeah, they have D&D merch now.
Because all we have is like what? Maybe it's just the one I'm next to, but it's all like anime shit. that
Yeah,
no
they have
one
everything
buys.
but video games now.
Basically,
Stupid.
yeah.
Oh well.
I played a little bit of PUBG with Jazz and Michael. Played some more Guilty Gear Strive, and I played a shit ton of Made in Abyss, which is really good. It's like I think it's based on an anime. It's fucked up. So these like anime characters are like these cutesy little like chibi looking. It looks like a fucking baby show, but in this game, like they get brutally fucking murdered. Like they get impaled and
Spoilers.
fucking.
Spoiler,
Well, no, it's like because
God.
like you can just die at
It's the
any point.
first
Like you can
episode.
fall off a cliff or run into a trap or whatever. So like anytime you die in the game, it's just these like fucking over the top like really violent death scenes for like no reason. It's really weird, but it's great.
What's
Again,
it on?
weird shit. I like it. What?
What console is this on? I'm just looking it up. This sounds
I'm
like my
playing it
favorite.
on PS4.
I'll be back.
And it's like super punishing too. It's like it's almost like fucking Dark Souls level difficulty. Like you can't save like whenever you want to. Like you have to balance, like you're always needing to eat food and like balance your energy, and like the only way that you can heal yourself and get energy back and shit like that is you have to constantly like kill specific things and farm materials to make healing items. So if you don't balance that like early enough, you're just fucked. Like you'll like lock yourself into not being able to do anything. Like you're just going to die over and over again. And same thing with like your tools and your weapons. Like you have to, they break over time. So and you have to farm materials to continue to build them. So again, like if you're not balancing these things and paying attention, like you're just going to fuck yourself over and kind of break the game. And I like shit like that. I like being able to like have to actually think about what the fuck is going on in the video game instead of just being like, walk to point A, walk to point B, kill a thing. Oh, you died. Okay, well, you lost 10 seconds. You respawned. Go again. You don't have to think about anything. It just kind of holds your hand and guides you through the entire thing. Like, I want to be able to fuck myself over if I'm not invested in the game. Like, let me do crazy shit and like play it how I want to play. And if I'm an idiot and I just like fucking, I'm 10 hours in and I just can't fucking play anymore because I'm a dumbass, great. Like, do that. I love that shit. Freedom.
Is this
on.
too easy
But-
for you?
What if you're an idiot on accident?
then that game's not for you. It's like we talked about. Not every
No,
game is for
see-
every person.
Heresy.
Man. Oh.
Where's the Dark Souls easy mode? There should be a like infinitely respawning like with all your souls button and everything that you can pay for. Oh no, I don't
Let
want
me
to
just push one button that makes me walk forward and kill all the things and then see the ending. That's all I want to do. It's one button.
I want to be able
No-
to do
Sometimes.
stupid
No
things on
difficulty.
purpose to kill myself, just to see if it actually kills you or not.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm the crash test dummy of video games. I just
Yes.
is that what
You can
they're
make
called?
money with that.
Crash
But
dummy.
how many games give you the freedom to
Game
do that?
tester?
Like
Well,
none.
A lot of games I have, even PUBG,
well,
lets you do
Well,
that.
PUBG, you're supposed to like surviving is like the corner case. You're normally not gonna survive. Right?
But I mean, like the type of like when we played Generation Zero, and I was shooting the gas tank just to see if it blew up, and it did. And you guys are like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "I just wanted to see what happens." So like that's what I love to do in video games. Like example, PUBG. Sorry, I know I'm veering off course, but like PUBG, Michael was shooting the mortar, and I just stood like right on top of him just to see what happens if he shoots it with me there, and we both blew up.
yeah, I
so-
was there.
Yeah.
I saw
So and now we know. Also, don't land on top of a helicopter blade because you will die.
it. But yeah, see, like
Yeah.
that's way more interesting to like
Exactly.
for companies to put in those little details, Like, it's like when I'm like, oh, look at the weather and the rain and blah blah, and you guys make fun of me.
no,
But it's like that kind of shit is interesting. Like put weather dynamics in there that like affect you. Like I want to see like, okay, it's snowing. Well, it's like Conan. Like you go into the mountains and it's snowing and it's cold, and if you're not prepared for it, like it actually physically hurts your character. Like those little details like just make games so much more interesting to me.
I mean,
So
that's good. But
so like put that shit in there. Like if there's a fucking like propeller blade spinning somewhere, like you could just have that in the background and it just does nothing, or make it so that if you walk into that shit, it fucking kills you. Why not? That's interesting. It's fun
My-
and you can fuck around with it.
Like the landmines in Last of Us 2.
My pet peeve with games is if there is a ledge that you should fall off of if you walk, and if there's an invisible wall right there, because it's so unintuitive. If you go up to a ledge and you're like, "Oh, I'll fall off if I like," it doesn't have to be intentional. It's like like you spend time avoiding it, right? If you're playing a game, usually, but on the off chance you run into it and there's just a wall, you're like, "Well, what the hell? Like this might as well be a fucking hallway." There's no, I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
It seems
I don't want
pointless.
invisible walls. If you ever see me play Tomb Raider, I don't want invisible walls on my cliffs.
or the return to
If
the
they-
battlefield and we'll kill you.
Yeah,
if
turn
you-" Like, what
around
the
or
fuck?
10 seconds and you'll
Yeah.
die. I'm like, I want to die right away.
It's lazy. It's lazy design.
Put natural shit there.
Right.
Put rubble. I don't know. Don't make a hallway or an alleyway and you can't
Mhm.
walk down it without dying
Right.
because we didn't want to render the end point of it. That, fuck.
Right,
Same
and
thing
that-
with the games that have the mountains that you don't allow you to Skyrim climb. Like if you can't Skyrim climb your way up the mountain and break it, I don't want to play it.
It's just like even little shit like in a building, something that I appreciated with Silent Hill is like a lot of people complain about this, but you can interact with every fucking door.
Yeah.
You know, they
Even
could have
if they
just made
don't
it so that
leave
it's like a
anything.
fucking flat texture and that door's
Mhm.
there, but you can't touch it. But no, on the map, you can look at all the doors and interact with every door. And, you know, you have to go through all the doors and figure out like which ones you can go through instead of just being like, oh, let me run along this wall until it says press X. You know what I mean? Like that's just, it's not very immersive. So like, let me have to fucking go through all these doors and figure out where I can go and where I can't go, because like it's realistic, right? It doesn't
like
pull you out of the
D&D.
experience.
so are they locked or what's on the other side?
Well, like most
Have
of the
the
like
non-
90% of the doors are just broken or locked or whatever, and you just can't go in them. But it's a minor detail to just throw in, like that's the case.
It
You
doesn't
can't go
break
in
your
there.
immersion. That's like, oh, it's a door that looks like any other door, but for some reason your character knows that you can't do anything
Right.
here. It's like,
Yeah, it's
Right,
like why
right.
why can I not interact with these 20 doors, but I can with this one?
they don't
Because
render
Right, so, I
anything.
mean,
Because
like,
they
getting a
want me to
reason.
go in that door, and like I can just use that to my advantage. It's like, okay, well I know that the doors I can go into are going to tell me, so I'm just going to blindly run through this hall until it says press X. That's not fun. That's not interesting. It's not
Right.
immersive. Like if you're going to put 40
Okay.
doors in this hall, I fucking have to figure out which ones I can go in and which ones I can't.
Which ones are locked? Which ones are best? Okay, yeah, I get that. That's good. It's good. I
God
agree.
damn it. Get the fuck out of here, chat.
Who agreed?
I want to find
No.
ways
Agreed.
to kill
I clicked the thing.
I was reading the thing that you clicked. Lee agrees
Oh.
with experimenting with details in games. For instance, he wants to find new ways to kill Ashley in the OG Resident Evil 4. Oh,
Watching her
I-
walk into a bear trap is the best.
I mean, that how old is that game now? 17 years old?
It's only like 5 years old.
bunch.
Imagine
I'm
your
still-
disappointment
Which
if you tried to
version?
walk Ashley into a bear trap and nothing happened.
Yeah, she just walks over it and she's like,
Coming
"Eh."
next winter to Resident Evil 4 remake. You can't kill Ashley.
I'm very curious to see how they handle that.
Maybe they'll make her smarter.
It's gonna piss me off.
Yeah,
either way,
she's so smart. She just like walks through the bear trap like, hey.
She has superpowers
like-
now. She can just float over everything.
They should
Watch
have
out
her
for that
jump.
trap.
She's the one rescuing Leon from the
She
Gnome.
grabs it and
Yeah,
throws,
right.
throws it
Yes.
at Leon's face.
Honestly,
slams
I
in his
wouldn't
face.
be fucking surprised at this point.
Leon's the president's daughter.
Wait, what?
Yep. You don't know.
But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Callisto Protocol came out, and I should be getting that on Monday, so I'm definitely going to play that. I'm excited about it, and I'm sure I'm going to be disappointed, but we'll see. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion comes out this month as well, and I
The voice
wa-
actor for Zack sucks. I just beat the PSP one like 2 months ago, and the new one sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's bad. We'll talk
The
about
old-
that a little bit later. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to buy that or not. We'll see. And then later this month, they're doing that Witcher 3 next gen upgrade, which is going to be free, and I'm really excited about that. I have a million games to play, and I don't need to be going back to a fucking 300 plus hour long RPG that I've already beaten. But like, I need to go back to it and see what they did, because like the things that they're adding sound like really cool, and there's like this large DLC that I never went back to and completed. So this is a good opportunity for me to go back and play that. So I'm really excited about it. Couple updates for the ward. The podcast format's going to be changing a little bit towards like the end of the month or maybe the beginning of January.
Beep.
Video quality should increase, and it should be more consistent in terms of like visual assets, and because like we're kind of all over the fucking place when it comes with like here's an image or here's a game or here's a thing, and it's just
Here's
like
an intro.
yeah, here's a
We've hired Carmen de la Cruz as our new technician. So it should be smooth from this point on, guys.
let's play the intro
Don't
and
blame
it's
it
the
on
fucking
me.
news. But yeah, so hopefully that'll be a little bit more consistent. Technical difficulties are definitely still going to exist. Those will never go away because we're just terrible at this. But in terms of just like the structure of everything,
like
it
how
should be a little
the
bit
first
more.
text chat is and less technical issues,
No,
perhaps.
Yeah,
it's part
No.
of the family now.
There's
maybe.
more.
Yeah, maybe, probably. Let's
There's
be real.
more.
There's going to be
technical
more.
issues now.
Just
But
I'm
different.
it'll
gonna name
look
them.
it'll look consistent though. All right.
It'll be
They'll be
consistently
technical-
crashing.
Exactly.
Problems.
Technical issues in 4K. Yep.
Enjoy it. Along with that, sometime probably mid December, there will be updates on theward.com, which there haven't been in like
What's
3
that?
years. Yeah, what is that? Who knows?
Isn't it
Is
it
the
.com?
dashboard.com?
It's the dashboard.com. That you know what I'm talking about. I
No,
tell you
do
what
we though?
the web address is at the end of every podcast. So if there's any confusion, it gets cleared up at the end. So you shut your mouth. But yeah, so I want to do a lot of changes with the website, and there's a lot of updating that I need to do, but like starting this month I will begin that, so you'll start to see updates and things kind of start to change beginning this month. And then there's going to be some Patreon updates as well that I'm excited about, that I'm going to roll into the updates on the website, so check that out soon. And then I got a couple of projects that I'm working on for the Christmas stuff that I should be able to get out in the next couple of weeks, to at least two. Shut the fuck up. At least two machinimas. I should be able to get out before Christmas. And there's a couple of like Christmas themed games, or games that have like Christmas themed levels, that I might maybe stream or do like a let's play or something with,
God, it's
to get some
December. We should
Christmas.
have
I know
Christmas
it doesn't
hat.
even feel like
There
it.
you go. That's my Christmas hat.
But yeah, you're gonna do the Christmas theme stuff. I missed
Christmas
out
with the
on
bakers.
Halloween, which really sucked. But Christmas, I will do shit. I will get it done.
Christmas the boulder.
The what?
The boulder is the Christmas ornament.
No,
and you punch it.
Christmas
Christmas
the
rock.
boulder.
Wow.
Christmas rock. Rocking around the Christmas rock.
Sure.
Yes.
It was a Chris Redfield joke. It's fine.
Sure.
Oh,
Red. Now you just need green.
Lots of red.
rocking
Where's the
around
ketchup?
Christmas tree.
This week I should be able to work on the unboxings, the boxes that Lee sent me, and hopefully I can get all those videos edited and released this month as well. There's going to be a bunch of those. And yeah, so it's been kind of silent in terms of like, obviously the website, but on the YouTube as well. There's been less podcasts, and really we've only been doing podcasts for like, I think over 6 months at this point. So it seemed kind of silent in terms of like Ward content, but I have been working on a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out, and that should start to roll out this month. So it'll be good. There's a couple of other content creators as well that I've reached out to that we'll kind of see. We're kind of working on things, nothing concrete yet, but the people that I'm talking to do like really interesting content that could work really well with like dual projects. So if that pans out, that'll be really exciting. And those are going to be projects in addition to the stuff that I'm doing with R3 as well. So lots of stuff in the works. It's going to be good shit.
So did you
Woot
say
woot.
dual projects or dual
Dual.
project?
Dual.
Dual.
Not dual. Dual.
Like dual.
DOL. You fuck.
I was like, are you having a duel? Is it like a duel or
We're
is
not
it like
dueling.
duel?
Dual.
Man, it seems like it's been a while.
Get fucked. But yeah, exciting stuff coming soon to a theater near you. Show and tell. I think I showed and told some of this stuff before, but I figured I would kind of get all of my stuff together
Your jacket.
as like a group show and tell because I have a bunch
Your
of
face.
Blood Rain stuff. I have
Oh.
Blood Rain on the original Xbox sealed.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I
Are you
never
gonna
have to open
unseal
it.
it?
Yeah.
No. Oh,
Sealed.
darn.
No,
Can
I'm
you
never...
unseal it on this podcast?
No, go to
I
hell.
wanna see it.
$500 just
As soon as he starts, there's like a scream. It's like
I have Blood Rain
See,
2
I-
on Xbox. This one is not sealed.
Have you had those like since 2002 or?
Yeah, I've had them a
Oh.
long ass time. I have the dual pack. This is why I don't have to open that. This is the PS4 versions. They released these digitally, and Limited Run Games did a physical release. So this is both 1 and 2 in a combination pack. So I can play those if I ever want to. But honestly, I'll probably keep that sealed too and just buy them on sale
Bailey.
digitally when I want to play them.
I want
and
to check
then
if
I
Steam
have
has it.
these
It
are
does.
the collector's
It's like
editions.
$5. on
Yeah, these are
Steam.
the collector's editions of 1 and 2 on the Switch, and it's cool. They got like little magnets, and they like, yeah.
What's inside though?
They there's a soundtrack for both posters. I think there's some pins,
Are you
and then
gonna
the
open
physical copies
that?
of the games.
You should open those.
Of course,
I
I'm never
want-
gonna open
Yes.
those.
I
Those are for the
want
collectors.
And you'll never
Posters?
see. What is
You'll
the
never
point
see
of
the
poster?
posters. What if it's
Exactly.
I don't have room. I have too many posters
Send them to
already.
me. I love Blood Rain since high school.
So do I. I love.
Do you have the
No.
really good movie
Wow.
that is really awesome?
Dude,
and by that
we
awesome,
don't
Yeah.
talk.
direct-
We don't talk
yeah,
about
it's
those movies.
amazing.
We don't talk about those. How did those movies continue to
don't
get
talk
worse? The
about
first
Blood
one was bad
Rain.
enough, and yet they continue to make them worse and
Wait,
worse.
there's more than one.
There's like
And
I
it's
Four
thought
of
there
them.
was. I've
the
seen
same
the
actors.
one, which was the not good at all one.
they're
that
so
I-
bad. It came with a little like sleeve thingy. I don't know why. And I have the collector's edition of the shitty garbage piece of fucking crap side-scrolling version that they did in like, I don't know, 2014. I don't know when that came out. When did it come out? Does it say?
Blech.
You should open that.
It doesn't say. I have this one
Open it.
digitally.
Oh,
I have it digitally. These are for the
Okay.
collection. They need to stay beautiful
I-
and live forever in my heart. See, and this is the thing. This is why one of the reasons I like digital, because like I can have like I like
Wait
to
a
collect
minute.
and I like to play.
Did you just say what I think you said?
He fucked up.
I no,
He
I've,
said he
I've
likes
said
digital.
I've said this a million times. Digital has good aspects. Overall, it's shit and shouldn't exist. But if it can live hand in hand with physical, it can work. But that's not the world that we live in. But it's nice to be able to like have a sealed collection that's in good shape, and you can have it in your collection, and you can whatever display it, shit like that, and then you never have to touch it. It can just be mint and great, and then you can play the digital version and not worry about it. You don't have to fucking worry about losing your disc or breaking it or scratching it or anything like that. Just play the digital version. You shut your face.
You don't want you don't want that like fresh factory smell though of a collector's item that costs $1,000 complete
Hell
and
no.
only $100
Hell no.
for
I've-
$900. You can.
Like, unfortunately, I've opened like every
Choke,
single
choke,
collector's
choke,
edition of Resident Evil games that I've got, and I always regret it. Like I should have
It's
kept them
nog.
sealed, and I should have bought them digitally.
Is it spiked nog?
No, I wish so, but I have some.
Corner store nog.
No.
What
Oh
the fuck
yeah.
does that even mean?
It looked like a milk jug she got at the corner store.
No,
but
it's not.
Nog.
That corner store is scary. I had a whole ass adventure yesterday
Oh boy.
trying to go to the.
Make
Well,
me
you
wanna play
know,
Blood right
right
now.
near where where I live, there was like a literal, bad thing happen.
Those are not good.
A
Wow.
literal
Yeah.
You can't
bad
prove that.
Okay. There was a shooting
Oh,
on
shit.
the corner of
Yeah, I
where
guess
I
it's bad.
live, and people died. Like
People
it
died
is a
there.
bad neighborhood. It is a literal bad neighborhood,
They probably
and there's
deserved
a whoa. Whoa.
Blood rain, blood,
it.
vengeance.
But like there's literally like, you know, drug addicts and prostitution and just all manner of bad stuff happening on my corner, the to where I live, and there's a corner store nearby also, and I went down there yesterday just to get a drink, just for the D&D game, which was infinitely not infinitely better because of the alcohol, but the
Yeah,
alcohol
she was hammered. In game and
it
out.
made it-
That
It
would
was-
explain the event.
Yeah.
it
Well,
was fun. No, but the event happened where there was this whole shoplifting frickin' thing, and the shop owner had us ordered us all out so he could lock the doors so he could chase after a woman who stole a honey bun. And yeah, that was interesting. So whole ass
maybe she shouldn't have
adventures
stolen
because
a honey bun.
yeah, maybe she shouldn't.
Stealing is
But,
wrong.
Yeah. But I mean, when you're on drugs, you know,
So is eavesdropping.
you don't notice, I guess.
I haven't dropped a no eaves, they're honest.
Anyway, adventures
You're on drugs. It's fine.
and
What?
alcohol.
That's the moral of the story. That's what I heard.
If you got green herbs and red herbs when the cops show up, just combine them. They'll be confused. It's fine.
Should I open this alcohol right now?
Yes. Does Twitch have a thing against it or no? Or this is on YouTube, huh?
It's on
I don't think
YouTube.
YouTube. I don't think YouTube gives a shit.
We'll see.
I drank like 6 beers for the whole podcast, and we didn't get in any trouble. So
I know you're
For
not
the
allowed
record,
to-
I am over 21.
Wow.
I'm not.
Here's my ID. It's like ID age over 21. Lol.
I'm 13.
Mm.
Uh-oh. We
Guess
talking
what
about
time
rated
it
M
is.
games. What time is it?
Time
It's
for the noose.
time for
The noose.
I will make you a new intro, Sean. This one's outdated.
Wait, Left 4 Dead 1's coming out?
It's supposed to just be a whole bunch of like things you'd see on the news, like random events, but it turned out to just be really random.
just had to throw a village in there, of course.
I mean, it makes sense.
Does it?
But if you start
it?
showing pictures of actual news, like
It's too
We
much
know what they
work.
say. It takes a village.
It's too get fucked.
Shooting at the grocery store.
Wow.
takes a village to raise a Sean.
Sweater.
Xbox
that's-
controllers are getting hoodies.
Lucky
What?
bastards.
It's
For-
so
Is
cute.
that for like a dog or something?
For whatever reason, Microsoft has decided keeping your controllers warm for the winter is important because they've opened up pre-orders for hoodies for your Xbox controller.
Is this like for your dog or something, or what?
It's for your controller.
I wouldn't spend more
Wait.
than $12 on it.
Wait. What do you mean it's for my controller?
It goes on your controller. Because that makes sense, right?
You're
Bling,
putting
bling.
It's decorative.
a controller
it's
is a
to keep
piece
your
of
controller warm.
technology, though. You don't want it to be warm; it'll overheat and die.
Keep it
if
warm
you-
by holding it in your.
But when you're
grippy
not
wet
holding
paws.
it and it's sitting in the corner all alone, you want to keep it warm for the holidays.
Let me just put
apparently.
my PS4 on a furnace and keep it warm. Oh wait,
What
why
if you
doesn't
put it
turn
on
on
a-
anymore?
What if you put it on a PS4 controller? Does that like break the universe?
Maybe.
I want to try.
Why
It
the
probably
fuck
wouldn't
are they
fit.
selling hoodies for controllers now?
It's a
Because
decorative
the world
thing.
is broken and people
I
buy
want
dumb
one.
shit.
What happened to like the shit you put on it where it's like, oh, I have like these like camo or game themed like
Skins.
plastic. Yeah, skins for your control. Who the
Well,
fuck
if
wants
you want
this?
camo, there's a white version with a camo pattern. There
Oh,
you go.
God.
For
I
only
like it. I think
$24.99, around the cost of an actual hoodie, potentially, you can have a custom tailored jacket with armholes for the handles and a hood that goes over literally nothing.
But you don't play it
Keeps your
while it's
knuckles
on,
warm.
right? You can't see the buttons.
You can't even use the goddamn thing when this is on it. I mean, I guess maybe you could make it work, but it would not be a good experience.
Why don't they just make like a protection case for your controllers?
Because it's not for protection. It's for fucking people that want to waste their money on dumb shit,
It's adorable, but I would not spend that much money
which is
on it.
usually me. But
If it's
This-
$5, I would totally buy. Yeah.
This looks like some shit you'd put on your dog or cat. Be
It
like, yeah, I'm
does.
an Xbox
It does.
household. Like, what the fuck?
and somehow these things
Yeah.
are selling out. Like people are buying these fucking
What?
things like crazy.
I
So what do I
want to see it
fucking
on a
know?
controller
Apparently, I don't
to
know
see
shit.
how absolutely unfunctional it makes the machine. Or
But
No.
I don't. I'm pretty sure it's just for like like decorative kind of people who have controllers that they don't use. They can just put that on and put it on the shelf, and it's a hoodie. It looks cool.
But $25.
Yeah,
If it
that's a
was
lot.
if it was like $5,
Yeah, I'd say like
Yeah,
$7, like
maybe,
$7 or $8.
maybe.
But
$5 to
But
$10
it's
for dumb shit is reasonable.
it's still pretty.
to be
It's still pretty
functional.
fucking
it's
silly.
like it's just one of those like silly for fun stocking stuffer like things. But you're not gonna
Mhm.
spend $25 on a
You can get a game for that.
That people do. I
A
guess.
controller for that. I don't know.
Honestly,
anymore,
if they had PS4 little hoodies for like under $10 or less, I would probably get one for the controllers that are just sitting in my room doing nothing because of the drift. And those like
Least
five
size
controllers.
Why
this
wouldn't
is
you
your
just
target
like?
audience. Lower the price.
Why wouldn't you just sell it? Sell the controller
Yeah.
and get one that
Because
works.
it's broken. Who am I gonna
Well,
sell it to?
But people repair those. Like you don't know how to repair it, but a lot of people
No,
can
but
repair it.
I'd like to
$3.
put it on my shelf.
Oh my god.
I don't want to give the green one because that's the Rebecca one. That one has to
What
stay
Do you-
grass.
message?
Do you use it maybe for Frankensteining and like fixing? Like if you have 5 broken controllers, you can put them together and get like 2 functional ones.
Like Voltron
Or
of
3.
controllers.
The only way I could see this being personally worthwhile is like if they made them like themed. Like you can buy a
Mhm.
controller or like a jacket for your controller that's Resident Evil or fucking Halo or where it's like, okay, well, I'm adding something of substance to my whatever collection. But it just says fucking Xbox on it. Like,
See,
For
why?
now.
But
you say
first they
that.
had to
Maybe
have the
maybe
official
they're
one.
testing.
Yeah.
You say that,
They
but
have
it's,
to have the official one first that says
Mhm.
Xbox, and then they'll move into themes. Trust me, there'll be one for all the I was gonna say Fortnite characters or something.
Ugh.
Oh, shut your face.
I don't like it anymore.
See, you say you want like themed ones, right? Which is like that's good because like remember they had the 360 that was RE5, 360 that was Gears of War. I'm trying to find the Gears of War 360 controller and the Xbox One controller right now just because I'm playing Gears and I was like, hey, the Gears 360 controller is $60 used. The Gears Xbox One controller is $150 used.
What?
Yes.
It's bullshit.
Just for the
That's-
it's a controller, but it has like the old paint job with the cog and the fucking red
Yeah.
shit.
I
Now
saw the
imagine
Tomb Raider one.
this, except hyperinflated,
It's already
Proportional.
inflated. $25? What are we talking about?
imagine paying $100 for a Gears of War controller hoodie.
And just imagine the scenario where you've got your controllers bundled up in little hoodies on the fucking shelf, and you have some company over, and you're like, "I'll go grab a controller and play a game with me." Oh, where's your controller? Oh, it's on the shelf over there.
Why are
Okay.
you leaving?
What
Wait,
the
come
fuck
back.
is this? You're insane. We're no longer friends.
Let-
I hate you.
let me just get you a controller ready. Zip.
What?
Like, when are we playing?
Right?
I
Like,
would,
how
I would be out the
awkward.
door in
how
2
fucking
seconds.
awkward would that be?
I would be gone. I'd be like,
Is
oh,
it-
sorry, I left my oven on.
Like there's
You turn
already
around
plenty
and you
of
just hear
casual people out there that like don't even understand the concept of a game collection. So like for them to try and wrap their head around something as insane as a hoodie for your controller, I feel like they would literally think that you're a crazy person.
Lee has a really
Possibly.
good idea with diapers and nappies for the controllers. Yeah, when your
Yes.
battery leaks out, when it breaks, there you go. See, you've never
See,
had that
at
happen.
least that
diaper,
at least that serves a purpose.
a diaper would look functionally like it would fit the controller more because the legs that go through the little leg holes.
What's the hood for?
I mean, you know,
why is there a
huh?
hood? Why is there a hood? What's the hood for?
Because
I
hoodies
don't
are
get
cool.
it.
Because
You're a-
sweaters
it's
To
to
without
protect the little
hoods are
touchpad
lame.
on the. Well, there's no touchpad on the Xbox. It doesn't even
There's
matter.
literally no point. It's fucking
It
ridiculous.
keeps
It's
your
in the
knuckles
hood.
warm. Keeps your
No, but you can't
No.
use it while you play. If you could
No.
use it while, you know what you could do is have like something for your hands that like you put through on the controller, and then your hands are warm. But then it's like the controller's gonna get warm anyway because it's gonna fucking
like a
vibrate and
muff.
shit.
It'll be like a muff.
Yeah,
It's a terrible
You know.
idea.
Xbox muff. Let's make it. Well,
That
we'll
sounds. I don't like it.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
another hoodie. There we go.
Yeah, let's get a hoodie for this.
Steam Deck. Is
Uh,
that a Steam Deck?
Valve is giving away a shit ton of Steam Decks for free during the
wanna
Game
s-
Awards.
I want
During the
one.
Game Awards this year, Valve will be giving away one Steam Deck every
Give it-
minute across the entire broadcast to viewers who watch the show through Steam, which I think is
do
like
it.
a 3-hour long show generally. So that's a shit ton
I
of
will
Steam
watch
Decks.
it. Oh yeah.
When
But
is it? When's the-
it's sometime next week or the week after, I think. Pretty sure it's mid-December. It's soon.
This is a fuck of a
soon.
way to get viewers.
Right? I have
I mean, I'm sold.
no interest at all in watching the
They
Game
don't come with
Awards this
hoodies.
year because like
Well,
the
now you
nominees
do, right?
are
You get a fucking
garbage
Steam Deck.
and like there really hasn't been anything. Like what was the last game that came out that was exciting?
Plague Tale 2. Oh wait,
You know what?
couldn't play it.
Even with that though, like I'm sure I'll love that game, but that's not game of the year material, or at least
Clock
it
Tower
should be.
3 was the last good game to ever come
Forbidden
out.
West. 100%.
Like the only one I can think of is like God of War Ragnarok, and like I'm just like I'm not even excited about that. Like I don't know. It's just
Horizon.
the nominees seem like they were forced, and it doesn't
It's
really
gonna be
seem
fucking
worth.
cat game.
And like half the fucking categories this year are like esports. Like who gives a shit? It's just boring. It's not nearly as exciting as it used to be. The only thing that I would want to watch it for is like they do their reveals and whatnot. So maybe there'll be a new game that they show that looks good, or maybe they'll show something on like Resident Evil 4 or Silent Hill 2 remake or something like that. But I don't know. There's just like no excitement there.
Why is
It's
there
just
no
disappointing.
Silent Hill 1 remake? Well, I guess there's
Because
already been one, huh?
2's the exciting one. And yeah, there was one technically.
The Wii shattered whatever the fuck memory.
But they got to go for the money. Silent Hill
Mhm.
2, that's what everybody likes.
Silent Hill
So-
also.
Yeah.
What about 4? Everyone likes 4.
Fuck 4.
Hey,
Wow.
4's garbage.
It's like Resident Evil.
Wow.
Yeah.
Silent Hill
Wee-wee.
4, Resident Evil 4,
Anything with
Resident
4,
Silent.
it's just shit.
Call of Duty 4.
But yeah, I kind of wonder, like, I feel like the odds of winning that contest might actually be fairly decent because, like, how many people actually watch that stream through Steam? You know what I mean? Because there's like every YouTuber on the planet, every like video game news source, like website, they all stream it, you know, and they watch it with their communities, and they watch it with, you know, whoever's watching IGN all the time, right? They'll probably watch it through IGN's streaming whatever service, or like if you like a YouTuber online, you know, you're gonna hang out with that YouTuber and watch it with them or whatever. So like, how many people are actually gonna go through Steam to
5.
watch the Game Awards? Like it's
Now a
it's
lot.
got to be
Now,
Just
I
five
mean, I
people.
know I will. I know you
well,
will.
maybe
I
like
will.
there's a lot
I'll
of people
try.
that either probably don't even know about the news. Like they probably won't even see that news article at
Good.
all,
Less
or
competition.
they don't have Steam, or they don't care enough to register for it. Like there's hoops you have to jump through, and a lot of people aren't going to be willing to do that. So I'm
You have
really
to pay?
curious to see. No, so I'm really curious to see like how many people actually fucking participate.
See, I would,
Who
but
wants to
I
fucking
never
participate?
ever win anything like that. Like I'd never win.
Yeah, I generally don't either. Like if there's an element of like if I do X thing, then like maybe I can win. Sometimes I can win that way because you have some kind of control over it. But if it's like 100% luck, I have the worst luck
Yeah.
ever. Like I'm not gonna win shit. So I don't know. But if I watch the awards, maybe I'll give it a shot. We'll see.
If it's during the day, like I can just have it on, but like telling you right now, I'm not gonna win.
Yeah, same.
I'm not even gonna pay attention.
That's a very expensive promotion though. And I think I read somewhere that Steam Decks, like just prior to this, were having like a production issue where they couldn't meet demand. And like now all of a sudden they're just going to give away like several hundred of these. What the fuck?
So is it going to be like the first so many people to log in and watch it all the way through?
Every minute, somebody random gets one.
They must be really like, what do you call it? Confident that they're gonna make money back on this. Like,
I mean, they
That or
do
they have money to
make
burn.
a stupid amount of money through Steam. So if they can get that platform into, hundreds or, thousands or whatever more people, that's a lot more money that they're potentially getting, right? Especially if you have like a shiny new piece of hardware. Are you going to not buy games for it? Of course you're going to buy games for it, right?
No, you're just
Well,
gonna link your
unless you
account.
sell it.
But you're already buying games if you're.
Well, yeah, like if you're linking your account, then you've already been buying games.
Yeah.
But like if you have a new shiny piece of hardware to play that content, like you're going to be more interested and more invested in it, and you're more likely to
that's
spend
true.
more money and buy more things. Like that's probably
So
where they're coming from. But
let's say for me, I have a laptop that only has a limited amount of, like the specs are limited because it is a laptop, and
it's got to be pretty
I'm
powerful
going
though,
to
because it's a
yeah.
gaming machine.
So what I'm saying is that there are games that I would love to play, but I would drop the money for them, but I simply haven't because I already know that I physically literally cannot play it. I don't have the hardware for it. And I'm not going to upgrade my computer, so I'm just going to wait until I have to buy a whole ass new one. But if I have the Steam Deck, not only is it portable, but it's rated to play like the bigger, badder things.
Right.
I'd be more inclined to drop like $60 on a game I've been really wanting. If I had the means to play it.
Yep. See, there you go. It makes sense.
So, well.
I think it's garbage because it's a fucking physical console to play digital only games, so it can burn in hell and die. But if I got one for free, I do have Steam and I do have some digital games on there, so I would use it. But I still hate it, and I would never buy one.
But it's handy. It's handheld too.
It is handy, but it's a fucking abomination.
You could play it in the bathroom. Come on.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I can also play games on my phone too if I wanted to.
Yeah, but this has like
those are garbage too.
I tried the Steam Link thing with mixed results, trying to play Final Fantasy VII on my phone, which you could buy. There is a mobile port for Final Fantasy VII, the old one. But I was trying to play it on my phone through the Steam Link, and it was interesting. And by interesting, I mean almost broken. But
yeah, you need a good connection to stream games like that.
Was it?
I was across town. Huh? It was yeah. There was some latency, but it was across town. I was just testing it out because I knew that I had left my computer on at home when I was over at my mom's, and I was like, well, let's see what we can do to not be bored. Let's fire it up. And
was it over Wi-Fi or your mobile?
Mobile. So my computer at home was logged in and turned on, and left on and had a pretty good internet connection because I got this new router recently. So the internet connection was good there. The internet connection was good where I was at also. But it must have just been, the satellite linkage sort of a thing that I don't know why.
Maybe over Wi-Fi would be better.
mm,
Lee says
Yeah.
that the Game Awards is on the 8th of December, by the way.
Yeah,
8th.
next Thursday.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm looking to see if I can even participate, and I can't.
Well, like you said, just why?
So you have to
'Cause
have
you're-
purchased a game on Steam between November 2021 and November 2022.
Oh no!
Last time I
Oh,
bought
shit.
anything,
Oh, wait,
it was Beyond Two
oh,
Souls
2021.
of like
See, that's
20 yeah.
super fucking interesting. Like, again, that's a really big deal. Like, that's really
They
isolating
wanted
who's gonna
active members.
who's gonna be able to
Yeah.
participate in this. It's got to be, considering like the amount of people that are going to be watching this, the people that are going to qualify for this have to be a very small pool.
Yeah.
But it's active users basically. They
Yeah,
want,
you have to
and
be
from November
active.
21 to November 22,
Yeah,
that's
you have to
a
have
whole
recently
year's
bought a
worth of
game.
people.
You have to be aware of the fucking promotion in the first fucking place. You have to decide to like, okay, well, I don't want to watch this with whoever, IGN, YouTuber, whatever. Like, there's a lot of things that factor into whether you qualify for this or not.
You have to
Maybe
live
it's
in
like
the
a
US,
rewards-
Canada, UK, or Europe.
I recently bought
broad
Alyssa.
enough,
I
yeah.
wonder when I bought. I'll have to look afterwards.
I
But
think
anyways.
this is kind of like their closest thing to a rewards program, because you know how they have those points that you get when you buy a game, but they don't do anything. They just like
Yeah,
normally
what
Yeah,
the
you get
fuck is that? Oh, you got points. Yeah.
you can
let
you can
have
buy
buy a
like
badge.
and stuff.
Oh.
you can buy like emotes and backgrounds, but they're
Ooh.
But
they're
it doesn't go
not-
towards any games, which is
Yeah.
bullshit. I wish it went towards games like an in-store credit, but no.
That's what everything else does. Like everywhere else, you get a credit card or whatever point system you accumulate. And it's like if you spend like $1,000, you get $10 or $25 back. That should have.
Yeah, that's how it should be. But
It's only
they
good
don't want to
towards
pay out.
like
They don't want to pay
digital
out all that money.
purchases of.
Like
Yeah.
Sony tried to roll something like that out multiple times, but they always cancel it because they don't want to pay out that money. Because it's like for a minute, like on
That's
two
why
different, at least two
they
different
back
occasions,
into Steam.
they made it so that like in a way your trophies would translate into points that would get you like extra games or like PlayStation currency or whatever, and it never lasts. It always disappears in like 6 months.
I think they tried
That's
to do
bullshit.
that with Xbox, but back when achievements meant something. But then like there was a bunch of games that had like bullshit achievements, right? Like you'd have all these like where it's like press A 100 times. I don't know. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Where like back in the day, 1,000 gamer score for a game meant you beat everything. You did everything they thought you could do in it, right? All the achievements, all the platinum,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck equivalent. And you, I think, would get rewarded for it, right? But then Xbox
Not
One
that-
changed that.
Not that I'm aware of. I've never
Okay,
seen
I might be
that.
thinking
Yeah.
of something else.
Because I used to be hardcore into fucking achievements. Like, yeah, it was an obsession. My gamer score is like 200,000 points, and I haven't touched it in like a decade. But yeah, that I just wish they would do something like that. It'd be really nice to get some kind of a worthwhile reward for your time, because that's what that translates into. You're spending your time to unlock achievements, trophies, whatever that is. So like they should reward you for being on their platform. And I mean, generally, if you're playing a lot on a console, you're probably paying for their service, right? So if you're playing on PlayStation, you're paying them monthly or yearly for their online service, right? So you're giving them time and money. They can't give you a little bit back. Like that seems kind of fucked up. But that's how it be.
Hey, I
how it be.
have some addition to this thing that I've just read up on.
Okay.
So obviously limit one per household. That's not surprising.
Right.
So as mentioned, you have to live in the US, Canada, the UK, or Europe.
Mhm.
So anybody who's from like Brazil or whatever, where a lot of the games are played, you can't, unless you have like a US address. Your account has to be in good standings, and your account can't be a limited account. You
What
have
is
to have
limited?
purchased. I don't know.
You have to buy a game. That's what I think that means.
Yeah, but you
Ye-
can't because you have to have purchased a game between November 14th, 2021 to November 14th of this year. So it's too late to do it now anyways. And any tax where did I see it? There's taxes, something taxes.
You have to
I'm
pay
guessing-
taxes on it.
The prizes are not substitutable and there's no cash alternatives, obviously. Each prize winner is solely responsible for all applicable federal, state, and local taxes, including
That's
taxes
fucked
imposed
up.
on their income.
I
So
mean,
if there's
I don't think that applies to us though in the U.S. I think in some countries you have to pay money if for like importing. I guess. I don't know.
but still it's kind of weird, like I don't know if there's any taxes.
Do you
They're
have to
probably
pay
covering their butts
shipping?
in case there's. I know I've had to pick stuff up that came from the States and I had to pay like extra like duties.
Yeah.
Duties.
You're a duty.
Dual.
It sounded
duties.
cool and sounded worth sitting there during work having it running, but no, I'm not even gonna bother logging on and registering because I haven't bought anything since 2020.
Yeah, I think I bought my shit in October. Now that I think about it, I don't think I qualify either. Well, this is a bunch of horse shit. See, this is how they're getting away with it. Like, no one's going to qualify for it. They're going to give away like 2 of them.
Carmen could do it.
The
do
two
it.
people that show
Yeah,
up.
there you
get
go,
the-
dude.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. And if I don't,
And then just a couple things I wanted to talk about that were just kind of things I saw in passing while going through the news. But Callisto Protocol is not being received very well, which is really disappointing to me because I was excited about it, but it's getting pretty shitty reviews all around. User score has been pretty low, as well as the like IGN and whatnot, like the critic reviews. Let me pull it up real quick. That sucks because like I was really excited about this game, and every time I'm excited about a game, it comes out and it's garbage. Like,
Is this the
what
Dead
the
Space
fuck?
remake or is that something
Yeah,
else?
it's not a remake, but it's done by the team that did the original Dead Space. So it's basically like if they could make a Dead Space remake, like this is what that would be basically. So I mean, I guess it has a 76 for like their critic reviews, which I guess is okay, but that boils down to like a 7.5, which not great. Especially for like a AAA title, you know, you would hope it'd be at least like an 8 or something like that. And for some
The-
reason, the user score is not populating for me. I don't know why.
The reviews on Steam say that it runs like absolute shit, even on like the best cards, and that there's some really bad issues with the checkpoint system.
Yeah, the PC version is basically broken. So like I would kind of disregard that. But yeah, like looking through the user scores, it's like 5, 3, 2, 2, 6. Like
Seven.
not good.
Is this a
4,
spiritual successor to Dead Space?
Yeah,
That's so disappointing.
yeah.
That was
Like,
such a good series for first 2 games at least.
Yeah, I'm still getting my copy. Like I'm still gonna try to keep hope alive, but just seeing this, like even if I get it and I like it, like it's dead in the water. Like they're not gonna make a sequel to it because it's probably gonna underperform because it's getting bombed, right? So like no matter how you look at it, this really fucking sucks. Like either the game is garbage or it's gonna be underrated and it's gonna, you know, it's not gonna get a sequel or be appreciated for being a good game.
And we're back to less diversity in survival horror again.
Yeah, we cannot fucking get survival horror off the goddamn ground again. I don't know what the fuck it is. Like Resident Evil 2 Remake had a chance to do that, and then they did 3. And then they, you know, and then Village and fucking all this other shit. And now we have Dead Space trying to come back, and that's fucking bombing too. So like we're killing survival horror again. It sucks. It's very disappointing.
Well, it's supposed to be undead.
The
Get
franchise
fucked.
of survival horror itself is a survival horror.
Right. Ironic.
We broke the wall, guys.
And then, so I was looking at Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, and like this whole thing is just fucking weird and annoying to me. This shit came out of nowhere. Like we kind of talked about it a little bit before, and the advertising for this, like the marketing and just like everything about it is very confusing and just like it makes no sense to release this game this way, because it's like, first off, before remake came out, part 1 or whatever you want to call it, it was a huge ordeal, and like people were upset that they were breaking it into like 3 different games or whatever, right? People were already upset about that, and then 1 obviously ends on a cliffhanger, and like there's this limbo of like, well, what the fuck is this game? Is it actually a remake? Are they going to be changing things? Because the way that they handled the story is kind of all over the place. So everybody wants to know what the fuck is happening next, right? And then they put this out. This comes out of nowhere. They don't really clarify what this fucking game is. It's not really a sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1. It's its own fucking thing, but it's attached to that project in some way. Like, why? Who is this for? Why would you release this out of nowhere? It's randomly
Cash
multi-platform. Like, you have, like, part 1 of the remake was only on PlayStation 4 and then ported to 5, no other platforms. And then this, whatever this fucking game is on everything, including Switch, which can't handle a game as graphically intensive as Final Fantasy VII Remake. So what does that mean? This game looks worse. So this sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake is a downgrade performance-wise and visually. The trailer that I watched, the voice acting is not good. It's really bad. The lip sync is bad. Like everything about this feels like a budget title. It's coming out at $50. Like it actually is a budget title. Because if this was like a
50
next gen
budget?
PS5 title, it would be $70. So the fact that it's coming out at 50 means it's a budget title. So why would you do this? I don't understand. Like, who is interested in this?
I can provide. Have you ever played the original Crisis Core?
I loved Crisis Core, but why? Why now?
So,
why this way?
Here's the bit. I think you kind of brought this up already. So I guess for the audience, I'm not going to spoil anything. So Final Fantasy VII has a really big twist about 2/3 into the game, like a twist that changes
2/3
2/3, as in like not like disc, like let's say it's a 40-hour game
after Midgar.
The twist happens, let's say 30 to 35-ish hours into the 40 to 45 hour game. And the twist is big enough to where it makes a very huge impact on everything that's happened up until then. It makes you it's kind of like Fight Club, where it makes you relook at the game very differently. It's not a small twist. Crisis Core, the original, it was originally a PSP game that took place before Final Fantasy VII that set up that twist. That basically like everything, because the twist has stuff that happened before 7 brought into it. Crisis Core is a prequel to 7 that establishes origins of a bunch. It has some other bullshit in it that's kind of stupid, but overall, it's a fun game. But the
There's
story,
a lot of dumb shit in that game, but
it has
but
a lot
I
of dumb
liked
shit. It has some. There's one more thing I want to mention regarding remaking it, which was the reason they couldn't remake it for the longest time, I think. But regardless, it's a prequel to 7 that if you play Crisis Core before you play 7, the first 2/3 of the original Final Fantasy 7 make no fucking sense. As in, make no sense to the point where you're like, wait a minute, that's not
how it's supposed to be. Yeah.
So and the remake of Final Fantasy VII ends at the 10-hour point when you leave the first big city of Midgar. I mean, that's not spoiler. That's what they market it as. Final Fantasy VII remake doesn't take into account this twist almost at all. Meaning,
actually, I don't think it acknowledges that whatsoever, like at all.
Yeah, there's no
like not even a hint or an Easter egg. Nothing. There's nothing in there.
The protagonist of Crisis Core is a different character than who you play in Final Fantasy VII, and 7 remake does, and that twist has to do with that character. It doesn't acknowledge that character at all. Meaning, if you, and it's the character you see is the character on the box, but his name is Zach, but it doesn't acknowledge him at all. So if you play Final Fantasy, if you don't know the Final Fantasy VII story or twist, and you play this part 1 of the remake, and then play this,
which everyone is going to do,
because I don't think
nobody even knows what the fuck this game is.
This game is a PSP exclusive from 2006.
It has a family to feed.
It's being marketed.
It has a family to feed.
even though it's not getting much marketing at all,
But
and it's just kind of coming out of nowhere. But
Yeah.
like, this looks like, for all intents and purposes, that this is the next iteration of the Final Fantasy VII remake. So 90% of people that are interested in that remake are going to buy and play this next, and it's going to effectively destroy the fucking story. And
unless
no one's
they-
even going to know what they're
well,
getting into.
unless they do what everyone thinks they're gonna do, which is change the story entirely, which
Which
would
is
be
also
fucking
bullshit.
stupid. If you're trying, what's the
Mm-mm.
point of remaking a game from 1997 if the biggest twist of that game is one that you're just gonna throw away and forfeit?
Yeah.
Like, the reason Crisis Core is a good game is because it fills the backstory of what happens in 7 and gives you an bigger explanation of it, of the
Mhm.
twist. Again, I'm trying to be vague because it's a good twist. Go play it. If you haven't played it, go play it. It's a worthwhile fucking experience. But so that's the story. The story is already fucked and out of order. They're changing the gameplay. The gameplay in Crisis Core, it's a PSP game, so it's a little, I wouldn't say it's clunky. I mean, it's a hack and slash game. It's not your turn-based, JRPG stuff. It has some RPG elements. You have a stat system, a level up system. You can select your materia, whatever, your magic and shit. But it's a hack and slash. They are changing the combat system to be more like the Final Fantasy VII Remake combat system, which is this Kingdom Hearts hybrid abomination I personally fucking hate. But I guess that's what we're going to have in all of our fucking games now, right? It's not going to be turn-based because that's too old. And it's not going to be real-time because that's not JRPG. So it's this Kingdom Hearts weird, like, wait for a bar to fill up to press a button to do a move. So the gameplay they're changing. But there's two things I want to mention. I think this is fairly interesting to regard. They're changing the voice actor for the main character to someone who is infinitely worse, I would say.
Oh.
Because Zack, as a character in Crisis Core, a lot of people love Zack. And I'm not going to get into the story why, but in terms of as a character, he is a very beloved character for being a charismatic, fun kind of, like, he has a personality people really like. So to change the voice actor to someone that from the trailers people go, what the fuck?
Sorry.
And it's they double down on it too, because not only is it just like not a good casting choice, but the voice acting is worse than it was on a fucking portable game. How did this happen? And clearly everyone's going to compare it to the voice acting quality of Final Fantasy VII Remake, because why the fuck wouldn't you? And it's fucking so, like, there's no way you're not going to notice it. It's very jarring. So how the fuck did they think they could get away with that? This game makes no fucking sense on any fucking level. It's so dumb.
It seems like they want to, because I really like Final Fantasy VII. I like Advent Children. I know a lot of people think that movie kind of sucks, but I think it's a good movie if you approach it with a certain attitude. But
I liked it.
In terms of,
I liked
like,
it.
It's got some dumb shit in it too. It's got some, I call it dumb anime
Dilly
shit.
dally shilly shall.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's is it a metaphor for dealing with your problems and accepting who you are? Sure. Does it sound fucking stupid said out loud in a movie? Yes. But like, the problem I have is 7 Remake was already kind of like, all right, forget everything you know. We're going to do our own thing. And you're like, okay, like, I guess. But like, how depressing is it that you can play, like, again, the Crisis Core is a PSP exclusive, unless you're emulating that shit, which isn't hard to do, but you want to talk about people who want to buy it, emulation's its own thing, or because of, barrier for entry. You have people that would like to experience the Final Fantasy VII story in fullness. The game itself, Crisis Core. Are they going to remake Dirge of Cerberus now and, like, with Gears of War gameplay? Like,
oh no.
It feels like the timing of this feels like they are desperate to make money, not that they want to actually make games and remakes for the new generation of a game that came out in 97 that is considered one of the best games of all fucking time. They just want to, they saw that I don't think people like that it's split into 3 parts in general. It seems the consensus is what the fuck, why? That stretching the first 5 to 10 hours of the game to 40 makes it bloated. Not more cool shit to explore. That no one wants to explore the whole of Midgar with all its nooks and crannies. Nobody wants to spend the first 5 hours killing rats in the slums. But
It's
that's where we're
padding,
at.
and it's cheaper to do that.
Never want
Yeah.
to kill rats.
Like it's my problem. The reason I get passionate talking about this is because I think Final Fantasy VII is a really good game with a lot of good, it's a really good story. It has good messages, and it can be remade effectively. But this is not that. And the biggest, saddest takeaway from it is going to be that people are going to play Remake, and then people are going to play Crisis Core, become confused. And when people become confused, they don't want to delve into it more. They tend to want to fuck off and do something else.
I'm gonna go play Fortnite.
Yeah.
It
And-
feels like we waited 25 years for this to come about. And when it finally did, the people who were in charge of the project did not have the passion or they didn't have the fans in mind when they did it. They didn't have like that true sort of commitment to the game in preserving and renewing and refreshing the game that we had been longing for all these 25 years. The people who went about remaking it, who were in charge of that project, they did just have money in mind. Yeah.
They've been
It's
teasing
always
a
about money.
remake. They've been teasing a remake of Final Fantasy VII since the PS3 launch, which was in
PS3. I was like, wait a
2006.
minute.
Well, and they that's the thing though. They
wrong
haven't.
people.
It's like they don't know what the fuck they're doing, because like it almost looks like they're blatantly going out of their way to piss off as many people as possible, because just look at the whole history of Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII comes out, fucking does amazing. Everybody loves it. One of the greatest games of all time. And then people want more of it, right? Whatever, a sequel, and then down the road a remake. And they never ever give people what they want. They never do it. They never give us a similar game. They never give us a direct sequel. They gave us a sequel to 10, not 7, which makes no fucking sense. And then it's like, okay, well, we're going to put out this teaser on PlayStation 3 to showcase the graphics of the system. And we're going to get all the fucking Final Fantasy VII people hyped about what a remake could look like. And what are they going to want? They're going to want a fucking remake. They're going to want that game. They're going to want to be able to re-experience that game with those graphics. And they just told everyone, hey, look, we can do it. We have the technology and the ability to do it. And then they just said, no, we're not going to do it.
They
We're
see
not
it
gonna
as
do
a
that for you.
title and not
And then
as a
they
story.
release all these shitty half-ass spin-off games and shitty half-ass movies that, depending on your perspective, like, maybe you like that, maybe you don't, or you're in between, in the middle, or whatever. But like, nobody got what they wanted out of it. They didn't get the continuation of the story that they wanted. They didn't get the remake. But we kept getting these teases, these just little like insulting, like, we know what you want, but we're not going to give it to you, for like over a decade. And then they finally commit to making a remake, and we're back to that same place where it's just like, we know what you want, but we're not going to give it to you. And we're going to slowly fucking piss you off over who knows how long of a stretch of time, right? Because it's like, okay, well, how many games is Final Fantasy VII Remake going to be? And then there's Crisis Core. And then is there going to be other spinoffs too in between? Like, what is this going to be, a decade-long fucking remake where no one is satisfied at the end of it? I just don't understand what the fuck they're doing. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to translate into money. I'll tell you that. And what could very well happen, which would really suck, is that they fucking destroy this in the middle of development, and then it's not financially viable anymore. And then whatever this fucking new vision of Final Fantasy VII Remake was going to be, we never even see the end of it because no one cares anymore. Or there's not enough profit to be made based on the decline in sales because you fucking effectively killed off the interest halfway through by either ruining the story or turning it in, like, I don't know, whatever the fuck they're doing with this Crisis Core game. I don't even know what they're thinking. Makes no sense.
I
It's gonna
promise they're not seeing it as an overall story. They're not seeing what attracted people to the story. They're just seeing a title.
They're just seeing money.
Yeah, they're just reading it off a page and not seeing it for the experience that it was.
it's also, this is happening already to me, which is kind of disappointing. It's the, I don't want to get into it again. I was like opening a can of worms. So like, remember Ghostbusters 2016 was called Ghostbusters, no subtitle, no number, nothing. And now when you look up Ghostbusters, now you have 2 wiki entries or 2 things. I
Mhm.
think a lot of this, like, and it's called Final Fantasy VII Remake, and now the part 2 is called Rebirth or some shit like that. It's gonna be called Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, not part 2, not chapter 2, nothing. Like Rebirth.
Wasn't it Oh wait, no.
Integrates the re-release of the thing with extra
Which
shit,
is
I
also
think.
fucking stupid.
Which is all these words that mean nothing, like Alien Resurrection, Freddy versus Jason Redemption, Friday the 13th Reloaded. I don't know, like, but like, what it's gonna do is just the part that pisses me off is a person is gonna look up Final Fantasy VII, and now they're gonna have more shit on screen to look at. That is going to be like, only one of those is going to be the good game that everyone's going to say go play. And that in itself, like, most people are going to look at that and go, this is too much for me. There's a fucking movie. What, you know what I mean? Like, there's already enough stuff, but now there's going to be multiple Final Fantasy VIIs, which means I think their goal in this, and again, maybe this is kind of a tinfoil hat thing. I think their goal isn't to make money with a new release, maybe temporarily. I think the goal is to destroy the original fan base in a way, to make it so that nobody can look at the old game, or nobody who cares about the old game is left to be like, hey guys, remember when you used to make good games? Hey guys, this game's way better than what you had now. So that none of those people are left and they can just make whatever the fuck they want with no criticism or comparison.
They're trying to drive the good thing into the ground or bury it or
I think so. I think they're trying to make it so that the only people who are left are just blanket consumers who have no context for what it was or what it could be, so that they just buy
Right.
whatever the fuck is there.
Lee
Also,
said part
Lee's
3 should be
commented-
called Final Fantasy VII Refund. I agree 100%.
Rebirth refund. I don't know. What do you guys? Do you think I'm off base with that, or I want to hear a pin because that's what I'm stuck in my own head thinking for the past few
it
months.
is a
about
conspiracy.
a little bit.
I don't think that's the case. I
don't-
think they're, again, it's just they're trying to, it's about quick turnaround and money and I don't even know. It kind of feels like there's like a disdain, maybe this kind of feeds into what you said actually, because it does kind of feel like they don't like Final Fantasy VII almost. Like it kind of, like if you look at the history, like I recapped there, it's like they're so afraid to go back to that story that everybody loved and do it justice. They continue to either ignore it, in effect make fun of it with like, oh, here's a teaser trailer for a game we're never going to make, or overwrite it or take it in a direction that doesn't make sense. So yeah, it's like that is what it kind of looks like they're doing, is like they just have no respect for that story and that fan base. And I mean, I can't imagine them as a company, running one of their biggest titles into the ground intentionally like that. Like that doesn't really make sense. Like that could ruin your company or cause you massive setbacks financially. So I can't imagine a company doing that on purpose, but there's something there that is making them not want to do this particular title justice. And I just don't know what it could fucking be. Cause like there's so much money on the table here that they could that's there for the taking. It's just like there's so many people that are like, take my money. It's Final Fantasy VII, just take it. And they've already got all the elements that they need to make it successful. They have the story, right? The fans are vocal. They are constant. Like in this day and age, there's no excuse. People are so vocal about what they want. You can get that information in a moment's notice. So that's irrelevant.
If I were to
They
lean in, sorry.
they clearly have the technology and the skills to visually make that work, because one thing I can say about Final Fantasy VII Remake is it's gorgeous. They recaptured what that game should look like in a modern light, right? If you don't know anything about like what is happening in Final Fantasy VII and you just take it at face value, they nailed it. They did exactly what they needed to do. It's just underneath that hood, it's fucked. That's the problem. But like they can do it, and they just refuse to do it. Why? Why would you say no to all that money?
Sounds like resentment for your own
That's what it's in.
franchise, or it sounds like if I were to lean into what you two are saying about it, it feels like the game was too great, too big, too much of
Then
what
copy
do you call
paste.
it? A tall act to follow, right? And if they don't have the if they don't have the writers or some sort of means to follow up that fantastic act, they just want to just pop things out, just shit it out and be done with it and not have to worry about making it great. But really, you don't have to change anything to make it great again. We just wanted perhaps literally like a refresher, um, literally just an enhancement, because the story itself is there, as you've mentioned. It.
I agree. I think that makes a lot of sense. Really, the fact that they know that no, we can't do that again. It was like maybe they feel that way. Maybe they recognize the limitations of their writing capabilities, or maybe they just look at Seven as lightning in a bottle that was good for the time. But they hate it, right? They hate it if they. I'm not. Let's say they hate it because it's so good. Everyone will always compare everything they do to that good, awesome thing.
But doesn't that make the solution simple? Like it's
More
like
of
I've
that
fucking
awesome
said.
thing, yeah.
It's
You
like I've
would
said
think.
time and time again. What the fuck should a remake be? It should be a fucking. It should be very true to the original. The whole point of making a remake is because it's dated, right? Typically, in terms of games, it's visually or mechanically, right? You could have a fantastic story from something 100 years old or whatever. Like if games were 100 years, like if we had video games for 100 years and we had an amazing one with an amazing story, like from the get go, year one, like maybe you don't need to touch that story. Maybe there's enough there that it's great, and touching it and changing it in any way will just ruin it. You don't need to touch the story. Keep the story intact and then update the visuals, update the mechanics, right? Because we have better technology to make things look better and function better, control better. Mechanics, you can add things that complement it, like the Resident Evil remake. We talk like that's the poster child for remakes. Why? Because it's basically a one-to-one remake, but
Better.
they were
There's more
able
shit
they were
of
able
the
to
same
change
quality that
they
was
were
made
they
before.
were able to literally do the exact same thing with minimal tweaks to keep the audience like on their toes and to keep that tension without like actually changing things. They just kind of repurpose things. Like they're still there, but they moved them around a little bit for the sake of the game and for the sake of the tension. And it worked fine. Like, but they still had all those elements. Nothing was removed. And then, like you said, yeah, they added a bunch of shit that made sense. It fits into the continuity. Like the characters still felt the same. Like they didn't modify anything in a way that altered the original, right? That's how you do it. So, like with something like Final Fantasy, that has that fan base and has that story and has all these elements that don't need to be modified at all, copy paste it into what Final Fantasy VII Remake looks like. Use those graphics, use that engine, use more modern mechanics. Like they could have even gotten away with the way that 7 Remake plays. I don't agree with it. Like I would prefer it to continue to be turn-based because that's part of why I liked the original. Even though, yeah, that is dated gameplay. I could understand as a business wanting to appeal to a wider audience, and a lot of the modern audience doesn't like that shit. So, okay, fine. You can update the gameplay in that regard. it makes sense. But everything else, why do you have to retell the story? Why do you have to change everything? Why do you have to change the characters? Why do you have to chop up the story and start mixing things up and confusing what people are expecting? You know, there's
Mhm.
two audiences here. There's one that don't know what the fuck this thing is at all, and they have no expectations. So something that's, you know, 30 years old or however old Final Fantasy 7 is, it's got to be pretty close to that. Like there's a whole new audience that you can tell that story to for the first time. They don't know what you're talking about. They don't know about that story and it's brand new to them and they're going to buy it and it's going to land for them. There's nothing to compare it to. And then there's the original audience that is expecting very fucking specific things, right? You you sold the game to this audience already and you're telling them that you're bringing it back and you're upgrading it. They expect it to be the same. They expect the story to be the same. They expect characters to be there. They expect them to look and act a certain way, and they expect the story arc and environments to be there and items to be there. And the more you chip away at that and the more you remove, you're going to be disappointing that audience. Why? There's no need to do that because there's no, like I said, there's no expectation for the modern audience, right? You have a fresh slate for that audience. So picking apart the original is just going to piss off the core audience. Why?
You had asked, what should a remake be? And I get that was possibly rhetorical, but I have the perfect answer for that. What should a remake be? An homage.
A homage.
Mm,
Homage.
Gotta hit
Like,
green
but
herbs.
not just. What I'm saying is that sort of same.
I disagree because you could say that Final Fantasy VII Remake, as is right now, is an homage.
That's a shit
But
homage.
it's a shit
But that's
homage because.
perspective. If you're using that terminology, though, that's exactly what it is.
But if you think about if you think about like the emotional aspect of it, of that word, and of like the spirit of, that's what they
Too
got wrong.
vague.
They got the spirit of the game wrong because they ignored we've been over this. They ignored every part of it that we loved. They focused on the wrong parts, right? So I think a good remake should have the absolute spirit of the and that's what they're lacking. That's
Yeah, I don't know. I just that phrasing it that way is like
Mhm.
it's just it's too vague, I feel like, because an homage can be something that theoretically captures the spirit or the intentional of the original, but is completely 100% different. And that's not necessarily like, here's an example. Like this proves it right here. The Callisto Protocol. That's a homage, a spiritual successor to Dead Space, and it's apparently garbage.
Mhm.
Right? So like it's because they obviously must have changed something there that didn't resonate in the way that Dead Space did, but it's the same team with the same energy and the same goal and the same spirit of the original, making it in a modern day, making a modern day equivalent of it, and it's not landing.
Mm.
It has to be done with love for the original.
See? Yes.
But how
And
was
I know that's such a
what I'm-
subjective thing, but
yeah, like this is the team, like the Callisto Protocol is the team that made fucking Dead Space. Like who's gonna know it better than them? Nobody. And they failed, right? So, and you could say the same thing about Final Fantasy as well. Like I don't think I don't know if there's anybody left with the original that are still working with Square Enix today.
I mean, the other thing you
I
have
think
to
there's a
keep in
handful of
mind
people maybe.
is like the developer who was, lead, environment or lead design in 2007 for Dead Space is probably like, a manager somewhere or like I don't know. He's not in the same. He's been promoted a few times since then, so I don't know if the same people are making those decisions. But which is it's sad too. It's like it questions whether you need a remake sometimes with you when you have people that won't be able to remake something with the same vision.
I think vision and spirit and emotion, call it foo-foo shit, but it is important. To have someone who can understand, and a part of the reason why we play games, especially games where they're at now with full-on stories and not just like puzzle shits with just 2D graphics, and the reason why we gone so far with games where they're like cinematic is because we're trying to experience something. There is emotion that is put into the game and emotion that is elicited from it. Like you're trying to go for intrigue or suspense or get your heart pumping and this, that, and the other. And if a person can't understand that emotion is an integral part of a story-based entertainment form, then it's just gonna be a miss. Because if I wanted a fucking if I wanted it different, I would play different. I hope that made sense.
Well, that goes back to what I was saying. Don't fucking change it. Stop changing it so much. Stop taking shit out of it. Like, again, if you keep everything the same and you update it, you're going to land with the majority of the audience. New people don't know what to expect because they don't know the source material, and the people that loved it to begin with will love it again. And then there's going to be people that are just like, oh, well, it's the same thing. Well, fuck those people. Go play the original then. This isn't for you. That goes back to what I say with, like, not every game is for everybody. It's called a remake for a reason. Like, you're remaking something that fucking exists. It's already there. Like, why bring in a whole new writing staff to fucking reimagining it? Like, if you want to make a reimagining it, then fucking call it that. This is a remake. Remake the source material the way that it fucking was to begin with and shut the fuck up. Like, it's that simple. Like, that's what I don't understand. It's not a complex thing. And it's going to work on all levels. It's going to sell. It's going to be received by the majority, and it's easier to do, right? Because you're
touching less.
There's less design, there's less research and development, there's less writing.
I mean, if you just take this and make Cloud more than like 7 fucking polygons, then
people just want to play it the way that they imagine it in their head. Because like when we played it the first time, we didn't know that it could look better than that, right? That was just how it was, and we accepted it and we loved it. But like when you think about the experience that you had with that old ass game that looks terrible now, like you weren't thinking about it looking terrible. You were thinking about, oh, this was great and everything about it was perfect and the visuals were great and I was satisfied on every level. They want that again. And to get that experience again, you've got to update the visuals and maybe tweak the gameplay mechanics, and then you could land it again in the same way that it hit them originally.
I mean, it blew fucking minds.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was state of the art. It was like, just everything about it. And we didn't care that there were parts of it that weren't perfect because we had never seen better.
Well, to prove my point, and then we'll move on real quick, is like when Final Fantasy VII came out originally, it was praised for being one of the most gorgeous games ever made.
Yeah.
Now it looks like garbage. It's one of the worst looking games ever made, right? So again, like when we think of a remake, we just want that back. We want it to hit us like that again, where we're like, oh fuck, this is gorgeous and it plays great, and I love this story. We want to feel all those things again, and that's all you need to do. And people just overthink it and they fuck everything up in the process. But we need to wrap up. Remakes are garbage.
Wow.
I was gonna, well, we can show this real quick, but a couple of limited physical limited editions coming out for some horror games. This is for the what is it called? Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, Fatal Frame. This is a remake of, I think it's the 4th Fatal Frame game, if I'm not mistaken. But it never released in North America. It's finally getting a North American release, and it's going to be digital only here. But this Asian version is going to be physical, and it's going to be in English. So you can import it through Play Asia if you want a physical copy. And it's got some goodies here. It's got a soundtrack, some artwork, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of neat that they're doing that. And then there is another one. This game I'm really excited about. Wanted Dead. I think it's Team Ninja or part of Team Ninja that's doing it, but it's like a kind of stylistic action, kind of grasshopper style game. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that developer, but they make like super over the top, like anime kind of style.
Kind of like Platinum games.
Yeah, kind of like them. Crazy, quirky games, and I really like that shit. And this looks really good, and I'm really happy that it's getting a limited edition, but it's only coming out in the PAL region for whatever reason. America doesn't get anything these days in terms of like collector's editions. I don't know why. I guess the market for that's not big enough. But this one comes with, you can get this through Play Asia as well. Comes with some postcards, a collectible magnet, I think, an art book, soundtrack, and a steel book. But I like the simplicity of the design. It's pretty cool. But yeah, support physical, buy those cool limited editions when they come out.
Fatal Frame. Fatal Frame needs to make another return. I know they re-released Maiden of Blackwater. I don't know if that's new or not, but yeah, it's cool. We need more diversity in survival horror. That's my takeaway.
That's 2 Fatal Frame games we're getting, I think, in less than a year, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So if they continue to sell well, maybe we'll see a new one. You never know. All righty. We'll go ahead and wrap up. We're not going to do any read your comments. No games this week. We'll bring all that back later. We already ran kind of long considering. But yeah, this has been episode 179. Thanks for joining us, everybody. If you enjoy the podcast or any of the content at The Ward, please consider helping us grow by sharing our content, liking the video, and subscribing. You can also support us through patreon.com/thewordproductions to get exclusive content, or buy merchandise like t-shirts, hats, and more on our website, the-ward.com/shop. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time. See if I can play. See if I can play the right video.
And the join link in the description.
Wardcast.com. Hooray!
Hooray!